Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. In the round 10th of the Chess Olympiad, Team India B was paired against Team Uzbekistan. And here comes the most awaited game of the Chess Olympiad, that is Grandmaster Gukesh D versus Grandmaster from Uzbekistan Abdusattorov Nodirbek. Now we know that Gukesh is in excellent form and he has also become India No.2, but his rival Abdusattorov is also World Rapid Chess Champion. Everyone was excited to see their game. So let's start. Before starting, let's have a look what is there in today's video. Number 1. What allowed Black to easily equalize the game? How could have Abdusattorov got an advantage in the middle game? Number 3. Gukesh's brilliant evaluation of structure. Number 4. Queen Knight versus Queen Bishop endgame. Number 5. Abdusattorov's stubborn resistance. Number 6. Effect of the tournament pressure. Number 7. Gukesh cracks under the pressure. Let's start the game. Gukesh opens the game with the move d4. His rival plays the move knight f6. There comes the move c4, e6, knight f3, d5, knight c3 and bishop b4. So this is known as Ragozin defense. Now bishop g5 is the main line here, or even c into d5 is the main line, but nowadays people are choosing the move queen a4 check. This forces the black to play the move of knight c6. White continues with the move e3, there comes castle and bishop d2. Black plays the move a5. Again, this is not much popular. The a6 is played, but a5 is Abdusattorov's choice. After a5, white played the move a3, attacks the b4 bishop. And black exchanged his bishop for the knight. Bishop into c3 and bishop into c3. Now here comes the first question for the viewers. How would you continue for black? Pause the video and try to find the best move for black. Okay, now if you don't know the theory, it's really difficult to find out black's move. The natural looking move like bishop d7 is not a good move here, because on d7 the bishop would be misplaced. To show you the example, after bishop d7, white can simply retreat his queen to c2 and the bishop belongs on the a6 or b7 square, from where it could attack the long diagonal. But on d7 it is completely misplaced. So in the top level games, all these things matter. And therefore black chose a very nice move, that is knight e7. So the idea of this move is to play the move b6. When the knight was on c6, b6 was not possible because knight is hanging here. That's why knight e7. And the idea is to play b6 and then black can develop his bishop on either b7 or a6 square. Now white continues with the move queen c2 and black plays the move b6. White continues with the move b3. Otherwise black at some point can play the move a4, and after a4 this structure is not good. So we should prevent the move a4, b3. Black played the move bishop a6. And now black's idea again is to play the move a4. So if white continues with the move like bishop e2, then black can go for this move a4, and already black is trying to damage white's structure. So after b into a4, bishop into c4, this position is really good for black. The d5 square is available for black's knights, and this a4 a3 doesn't look that good. So in order to stop black's a4, white himself played the move a4. But now this little bit weakens the b4 square. In the game, now black continues with the move knight e4. Now Gukesh replies this knight e4 with the move bishop b2. So this suggests that Gukesh didn't want to exchange his pair of bishop. But this loses time, like bishop b2. If we'll see, white developed his bishop to d2, then took on c3, now he's moving to b2, and later in the game he played the move bishop a3 to control the b4 square. Now this is too much time wasting in the opening. If I was there in the game, I would have played the move like bishop e2. like I don't like wasting time. So bishop e2, knight into c3, queen into c3, and position is just fine, and both sides can play for win. So bishop b2, it's a slight inaccuracy. Black plays the move knight c6, and now knight is coming to the b4 square. It's a nice outpost. So white plays again to bishop a3. Now if white continues with the move c into d5, I think again this should be played. We are not wasting time with our bishop, and after c into d5, bishop into f1, king into f1, queen into d5, queen c4. Again the position is quite equal, and white has a good play, like he can play king e2 and rook hd1. That's perfectly fine position to play. Now after bishop a3, black played knight b4 and white took on b4. So see this, it's like 1 2 3 4 5 moves with the bishop, and this doesn't look good. After this capture, now a pawn has come on the b4 square, and the c3 square is available for black's knight. Now Gukesh plays the move bishop d3, and here Abdusattorov goes wrong. So of course the bishop is attacking the knight, and black could have played moves like f5. In the game, Abdusattorov chose the move knight f6, because from knight f6 it is also supporting the h7 pawn. But in the game, he could have played the move knight c3. Now knight on the 6th rank is known as octopus, and knight is really strong on that square. Maybe he thought white is winning the h7 pawn, but after king h8, and when white takes his bishop back, because there are chances of g6 and trapping the bishop, so, and also at the same time c4 is hanging, so bishop d3, and after this move d into c4, a very important move. This opens up that long diagonal, b into c4 and bishop b7, transferring the bishop on that open diagonal. And after moves like queen b3, which attacks the b4 pawn, black can simply play c5, bishop e2 and rook a5. And here, in spite of pawn down, black's position is excellent. Rook on a5 is excellently blockading the a4 pawn. a4 pawn is very weak. The bishop is excellently placed. There are plans of queen a8, or even plans like queen e7 and rook a8. The position is very pleasant for black. The knight on c3 is annoying, and the pawn on b4 is a protected passed pawn. So this was a nice chance for Abdusattorov, but he went for the line knight f6. In the game, Gukesh castled, and now black made a slight inaccuracy again, so that is c5. But instead of that, again it was a good idea to open up that long diagonal with the move d into c4. And after b into c4, just black has to play the move bishop b7, and bishop is excellently placed on that diagonal. It's very hard for white to get in the move e4. And later black can try for this c5 break as well. But in the game, black played the move c5, and now this gave Gukesh a chance to take the structure into his favor. So Gukesh played correct chess here, d into c5, b into c5, and after this he played the move e4. So this was a very nice structural change, and in the game black took on e4. But let's see the variation d into c4, and after bishop into c4, bishop b7. Here we can see the difference. White has already got his pawn on e4, which completely restricts the black's bishop. It is also controlling the important d5 square, and now c5 is a weakness. In the earlier variation, the pawn was on c7 and this pawn was on e3. So this completely changes the nature of position. And here white is completely fine and even slightly better. So in the game, black chose the move d into e4, bishop into e4, rook a7, knight e5, an excellent move. Knight c6 is a big threat. Knight queen d6, rook e1, supporting the knight in a tactical way. Queen into e5 is met with bishop h7, knight into e4 and queen into e4. And if we see this structure, evaluate this structure, this is better for white, because the bishop on a6 is completely restricted by white's pawn here, and we have got a4 as a outside passed pawn. Plus the c5 weakness is fixed. The knight on e5 is excellently placed. So this is a huge advantage for white. Black continues with the move rook fd8, and white plays a very beautiful move, that is queen f3. So we cannot go directly knight c6 because of the move bishop b7, and this is pin. That's why white played the move queen f3. This move prevents the move of bishop b7 because f7 would be hanging. A very nice move, queen f3. Even queen f3 is preparing the move rook a d1. So this forces black to play the move of queen c7. If black plays a move like rook f8, then there comes rook a d1, queen c7 and rook d7. It's deadly for black here. So black continues with the move queen c7, and now white plays the move rook a d1. Rook a8, rook into d8, rook into d8 and rook d1. So exchange of rooks are of course in the white's favor. Rook c8 and queen g3. Again a very nice idea. Queen g3 protects the knight and there is a threat of rook d7. So black plays the move of h5. Now this move shows that black doesn't have any active plan here. White continues with the useful move h3. We are just making a square for our king, so no chances of any back rank mate. Black now plays rook d8 and here exchanges happen. So now this is a pure position of queen knight versus queen bishop endgame. And if we see, queen knight is better against queen bishop combination. Now white plays the move knight d3. So we are already starting to attack the weaknesses. c5 is attacked. Black plays the move h4. Now white continues with the move queen e3. Now c5 pawn is lost. Black tries to activate his bishop with the move bishop b7. But without hurrying, Gukesh plays the move f3, completely restricting this bishop. Black plays the move queen d6. Now there was a chance to take the c5 pawn with the knight, but Gukesh played the move king f1. Maybe he was afraid of some lines like knight into c5 and bishop into f3, where we cannot take the bishop with queen because c5 knight is hanging. But if we take back with g pawn, then there comes queen g3, and this position maybe Gukesh was worried about. But this is still winning for white. So he plays the move king f1. The idea is to put his king on e1. So after knight c5 there would be no checks from d1. Now black plays the move e5. So black wants to do something here. He cannot sit quietly. There comes knight into c5 and bishop to c8. Now we have a very simple plan just to push this pawn. There comes, after king e1, bishop f5, a5. Queen c7, a6, bishop c8, and now pushing this pawn is not possible, so white changes his target. He plays the move knight d3. Bishop into a6 and queen into e5. Now if we evaluate this position, white is a pawn up and his knight is excellently placed. Black's bishop is also not well placed here. So this is completely winning position for white. Even the h4 pawn is a weakness. Black plays queen b6 and now white plays knight c5. There comes the move of queen a5 here. And this is one small trap actually. It looks like white is winning the piece on a6. Let's see the variation. Queen e8 check. King h7, queen e4 check. Now if the king goes on h6, we are winning the h4 pawn with a check. And if king goes back, then we have queen a8 check. King h7, we cannot take the bishop with our queen because our knight is hanging. So what if knight takes a6? Isn't white a piece up? But this is a perpetual draw. There is queen a1 check, king f2, queen b2, king e3, queen into b3, very important move. And after king f4, there comes the move g5. King into g5, queen e3 check. And after b3, black also has some chances, and this is completely equal position because our king is totally exposed in the center. So this was a nice trap set by Abdusattorov. Gukesh didn't fall into this trap, but he also didn't manage to completely convert this. Now after the move queen a5, the correct move is just to play the move king f1. and actually black is in Zugzwang. Now the same thing will work. Queen e8 check, king h7, queen e4, queen a8, and there is no way black can save this bishop. To show you, after the move queen a2, queen e8 check, king h7, queen e4 check, king g8, queen a8, and after king h7, queen into a6, and there are no perpetuals here. King will just run away, maybe on d5, c6 here, and the b3 pawn is mostly importantly protected with the knight. So this is completely winning for white. Now in the game, Gukesh chose the wrong plan. He wanted to put his king on d1, and he managed to execute this plan, but this is a wrong plan. The correct plan was to play king f1. So let's see, after the move king d1, how black took advantage of this. Black played the move queen d8 check. So again there was a chance for Gukesh to improvise and again play the move king e1. But he wants to play that king b1 plan, so he played king c2, and there comes the move bishop c8. Black wants to improve his bishop, knight e4, bishop e6, king b2, queen a8, knight c5, queen a3 check, king b1, and here black played the move g6. Now after bishop b5, it is really dangerous for white, and here black comes back into the game. So king c2, queen a2 check, queen b2, bishop f5, knight e4, queen a7, and black manages to penetrate into white's position easily here, and white's pieces are quite misplaced in this position. King d3, queen g1, queen c2. Now there are a lot of checks, and also the pieces are quite awkwardly placed for white. Queen d2, queen g1, king c2, queen a1, king d3. As we can see, white is not able to make any progress here, and finally he loses the g2 pawn. Knight g5, queen e8 check. Now this is not sufficient to win, there is no mate here, and black won the second pawn also. So in this position, now it is material equal and even slightly better for black. And under time pressure, Gukesh made a big blunder at this point. He played the move knight c6, threatening checkmate, but completely missed opponent's move queen b7, and black is winning the knight here. So this was a very sad moment for Indian fans, and Gukesh lost this game. Abdusattorov winning this game saved his team from losing. So it was 2-2. The match was tied here. So that was very nice defense and stubborn resistance from Grandmaster Abdusattorov Nodirbek. I hope you liked my explanation. Thanks for watching the video.